right. So yeah, I think everyone is familiar with the ground rules with the two rounds. And first round's a positive, second round's a needs for improvement. And yeah, so we have the second act of One Ring Circus from Stephen Dexter. And does anyone want to start us off with round one or second act or the whole thing in some cases?
Yeah, I get it. I'll set up. I like how much action is in the script. All the chasing, the car chase, the boxing, the fighting. It's a lot of fun. I like that Jack gets to use his stunt talent. We see him because when he on the motorcycle and he goes onto the ship, that's really cool. It's kind of like a swashbuckler because this movie's go, go, go. It's a lot of fun and it makes it funny. It's just go, go, go. And my favorite dialogue is Alejandro's speech on page 71. Made me laugh when he says, "How can this be goodbye when my love for you will forever burn like a big hot chili pepper I can't digest?" I really like Alejandro the way he speaks. It's goofy. It's really fun. And,
but it's sincere.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I it's go, go, go. So I like that. It kind of reminds me of I was thinking swashbuckler, but someone else said too, some like it hot. You know how it goes like it's just one thing to another. And I think I like the pace and it's just very fun and I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I'll just, that's a small comment, and this applies to both Stephen and Rosa, which is that I read both of your log lines. And I thought both log lines were actually very good. I thought, oh, well, these are both going to be interesting stories to read. Stevens suggested it's going to be Screwball, and Rosa says pretty clearly that it's going to be something very mysterious. I don't know what the genre is going to be, but so just from the log line alone, I think those are two strong points because they kind of they made me want to read them, which is that's great. That's a great start.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, and I'll just say actually I provided the log line for Steven's one. I tried to look. Did you send me a log line for it, Steven? I don't think you. I would look for it, but I didn't.
I don't know if I did or not, but I
Okay.
loved your log line. I'm going to use.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was. Yeah, I just said description instead of log line. It's not an official one from the writer, so I didn't want to.
No, I like yours.
But I thank you, Rob, for the compliment then.
Yeah. Jeff may have a second career as a log line writer.
Jeff gets the credit. He's my log line writer now.
Apparently, yeah, that's yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'll echo what Rosa said. Yeah, it's very actiony, and you do a good job of describing all of the avenues and all the things that happen in the chase. And there are many elements in the chase too that you have to keep track of, and I was able to keep track of it. So. That's good. Yeah, I like that the Screwball sort of I don't know what you call it, a romance misadventure has an action scene in it, just to sort of switch things up a little bit. Yeah, you're sort of changing character motivations in the second act, sort of. I like that switches things up. It's not just linear. There's complications that you add in, but it doesn't get convoluted because I think I said it last time with the first act. I like Grace so much that I almost don't want her falling in love with Jack, but that's next round. Yeah, Grace is a great character. She's able to navigate everything that's going on, and between these two knuckleheads, they're just completely messing things up at every single turn. Yeah, I'm wondering how you finish things off. I'm intently curious now how you finish things off in the third act.
You'll see next time.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a great dialogue. I always like the dialogue, really well written overall, very professional. I thought it was, of course, it was a fun read. Those see all the emotions. And I've said before, I always like the bro talk. You always have good bro talk between characters. I think they're really well used with funny montages. And the chasing. Everyone keeps mentioning the chasing. I mentioned some of the same things. That was really well written. I could really visualize that. And of course, the pacing right on. Just keep nailing it with action. So really easy read. Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Nice pace, easy read, a lot of action, a lot of comedy. I really felt for, and like Jack. I don't know if you could say him the main character, but it's like I was more into Jack and what he was going through. I kind of felt for him, his situation. But yeah, I mean everything was nice and clear, and not there was no confusion anywhere. Just the way you formatted and the way you wrote it. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo what everybody else said. Great screwball comedy. I think setting it on a cruise boat for the parts that are on the cruise boat is pretty good. The sections set in Mexico are gonna be fun too. Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
You might want to check and see if the Disney cruises go to Cabo or whether you should pick another port so that you can just sell it immediately to Disney when you're ready.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Is that all we got for round one?
I do have a quick question. Steve, when you were writing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I've asked you this question before from another script that you wrote, but do you have do you kind of cast it like popular actors out there today? Do you ever say, okay, kind of envision, okay, this if this movie was made, this actor would play this character? Do you do that? Did you do that with this one?
The only one that I thought of was Tess, and I pictured a young Drew Barrymore for
Okay.
her. When I write, I don't write really thinking about a character in mind. After I write it, then I think, oh, who could play this? But I don't
Right.
really write it. I mean, Vince, he's a hunk. Channing Tatum character kind of thing.
Okay.
That kind, sometimes I will think of a character for, like I said, for an actor for one particular character. And Tess, Drew Barrymore, popped up. This kind of a young, perky, pixie blonde kind of character, who's
okay.
smart, and who comes into her own at the end.
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to. Yeah, you add a little bit more dimensionality to Tess. She's not just head in the clouds, just oblivious to everything. No, she's aware. Like you gave her a little bit more character depth, especially towards the end. So yeah, I like that. Okay, but is that all for round one of the scripts? Going once, twice, once. Okay. Moving on to needs for improvements.
I got my notes here.
Okay, get your notes out, Steve.
I got my note.
Okay.
I got my notepad.
All right, awesome. Does anyone want to start us off there?
I have 2 points that I just wanted to make. The Derek, Cindy's father chase, page 82. I just felt like it was one chase too many. I like all the other chases, but the 18-year-old Cindy comes out of his room and then she sees the father. He's got the karate belt, and then he chases Derek. It's fine, but I'm okay with not. I don't know if we see Derek in Act 3, and I was hoping that I can go either way. I don't have to see him again. I don't know why. I'm not. But if I see him again, it's okay. But just page 82, that I just didn't like. I was questioning that, and page 91 and 92. I think that the Vince Batgirl scene is a little quick. I want to hear more dialogue from Vince. My thing before Batgirl suddenly kisses him. I thought there should be a little more back and forth. Although even though she's not speaking, she can move her body, but body language, that says a lot too. But I just want to hear more dialogue from him. I don't want her to just suddenly kiss him so quickly after a couple of lines, I was thinking more. And right there, I was thinking the Wyatt, he comes in a little too soon, but maybe because I just want to hear Vince a little more. But those are my two small.
In terms of Derek, we never see him again, and we assume he just gets the crap beaten out of him by the karate guy. And that's he gets his comeuppance for being such a jerk. I wanted a little payback there, because he's still messing around with groupies, and this time.
But I figured that before I saw page 82. I knew that.
Okay, I made a note. Thank you.
Do we ever see Derek's a ship performer, correct?
He's the lead singer in the
lead singer. Do we ever
in the country band?
Okay. Do we see him? I just can't remember. Do we see him perform on ship?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
I'll just say that's. I thought it was kind of an interesting character. I mean, I don't know where to go with it, but that you do have this cruise ship performer. And that he is trashy and he does have groupies, and you want to see him perform and see how bad he is and how he's wooing the cruise ship passengers and singing to the ladies, young and old, to charm them and to make their trip especially memorable. So
Okay.
I don't know if I'd be too quick to dump him, because he's not a bad comic character.
Okay. Julie noted. Thank you.
Rosa mentioned Some Like It Hot, and that was the first thing that I thought of as I was reading it.
Did anybody?
This is classic screwball comedy, and
did anybody think of What's Up, Dog?
I don't know if I've ever seen it, so I could.
Oh my god, it's like a what's.
There's a little bit. Yeah,
A
little bit. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, that's sort of a little bit more like off the rails or something like that. I mean, I think I said it last time. It's kind of like that, like old, the old Henry Fonda movie. I keep on forgetting the name. It's Lady Eve with Bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of the same sort of deal with cruise ship, and there's a. Sort of it's not really a misunderstanding because she's trying to con him, but it's sort of the same deal. It's sort of like the people meeting on a cruise ship, and then adventure ensues. My only issue would be with, I'll try to bring it up there. Shuffling between so many screens here that I'm trying to make sure that all right, 54. Okay, just really it's really just this first conversation. I like the meat of it, but I'll bring it up. 55. That's 54. There we go. Okay, yep. And all right, can everyone see it?
Yep.
54. Okay, yeah. So again, I like the meat of this, but I just don't. It's a little awkward the way it starts. So I promised, So it's great. So it's their first heart to heart, and Jack goes into sort of why he's with Blair and everything. It's just this particular way to start off is just a little awkward. Like I promised my dead mother.
How about I made a promise? Oh, who'd you promise this to? Maybe a slower intro rather than just
parse that out a little bit more than just I promised my dead mother, because
okay.
If I were Grace, I'd be okay. Well,
we'll see.
I'm helping out a little bit of a case here. But just parse that out a little bit. Again, I like it's sort of like his promise to his dead mother and everything. But yeah, just ease into that a little bit better than just coming right out and saying
Okay.
it right at the top. But in terms of sort of trimming it down, or yeah, as in terms of trimming it down, yeah, I don't really, because I do like, yeah, I think maybe Rosa has it right. I think maybe one too many chase sequences, and with especially with if Derek is not coming back, then maybe I don't know, maybe make him exit a little bit sooner or something like that. Or
How about this? How about if there's no chase? They just
Mhm.
come out to the hallway. She sees her father and she goes, "Oh, hello, Daddy," and he just does this. There's no chase.
there's no chase. Okay, yeah,
Maybe something like that. We know
yeah,
he's
okay.
gonna. We know he's gonna get the crap.
He's in
kicked out of him.
trouble. Yeah, we know he's in trouble. Yeah, so okay.
I just love the fact that she closes the door on him and goes, "Hey, that's my room."
Mm.
Maybe that he just does this and then there's no chase. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, again, great script from you as always. Yeah, those were really my only two notes.
Okay.
Even, you know what I was going to say, going back to Some Like It Hot.
Yep.
Since that's the classic, that's really the template for these kind of movies, I think. And the way that movie is set up is we quickly identify Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon as the heroes. You know, they got their musicians, then they go into the Valentine's Day Massacre, and then then we meet Marilyn Monroe on the train, and finally we get to Florida, and then the Joey Brown character, he's the eccentric millionaire, he comes in, and it's really, at the end of the day, it's really like a four character show going forward from there. And one of the things that I didn't think that was clear enough with this one was establishing in the beginning who, and as a result, so because Tony and Jack are clearly established as the leads, we're mostly concerned of how the story affects them, and Marilyn Monroe too, because. But in this case, we get you got a lot of characters being thrown in really quickly, and I'm not quite sure that we end up having a real hero to cheer for strong enough, because me, as I'm reading it kind of gets murky as to like, okay, and who's the lead again, and why do we care for this and all that. And so I would just make sure you have a very good through line as to, you know, your leads, or your, you know, could be just one guy, or it could be and make sure that by the end, you know, we're cheering for them to succeed or to fail, or you know, whichever way you want to go with it. Just so we know all the way along, and so the other characters are mostly in service to the main characters. They're not, you know, strong independent characters. Everything is done to serve your leads. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
No, actually it is, because there's a comment last time, bring in Grace sooner. So I'm thinking we just start off with Grace, or Grace comes in right after right after he jumps into the pool, and then just bring in Grace, and then go to Jack afterwards, or even bring in Grayson's right off the bat, because she is the one who kind of brings everyone together.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the first act pacing is actually a little slow, and then I think you just want to get them. I mean, your log line written by your ghostwriter is pretty clear. They're going to be on a cruise boat, and that's where the action's going down. Just get them on the cruise boat as quickly as you can,
Okay.
and then start mixing in, you know, Derek or this one or Grace or whoever, because then you're you know, you just jump right into the action.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Maybe even start on the cruise ship and just have a few flashbacks, just to sort of, yeah, just get right to the set. Let's just get right to the main sets, and yeah, just do flashbacks when that's needed.
I mean, it could be as simple as everybody's pulling up in their taxi van, and they're boarding the ship, and as they're going on, we figure out, Vince, the stunt guy, this one, that one, I'm just going to use Derek. Derek comes aboard with his Midnight Rider rhinestone cowboy outfit because he's the performer, and he's a crew member, et cetera. And you just visually establish all your characters, and then it's off to sea for them, and the fun begins.
Very good, thank you.
I will say I was a little confused with the first couple pages, because you introduce Vince as the stunt guy, and he seems like he's the hero, and then Bo comes over, and of course, Michaela doesn't want to kiss him, but then it turns out that Bo and Vince are buddies, and Vince is kind of telling the whole story to Bo, and I thought this should go either way. Bo should be saying, "Fire that stunt guy! Why is Michaela kissing him, or throwing his weight around? I'm the lead. I'm the star of the show. Vince is just the lousy stuntman. Why is he getting all the action? Why is something like that? I'm not clear why they're friends." And almost like the roles get reversed. Bo turns into the good guy, and Vince turns into the bad guy, who's getting ready to dump his girl as soon as the cruise is over. I just didn't quite follow that setup.
Okay. I just needed a reason to get Vince on this cruise ship, because he wouldn't go otherwise, I think, but maybe I'll change that.
Again, you could tell that, and you could start him on the cruise. You can indicate, again, they're in line. They're getting ready to board the cruise boat. You establish that he's with his what's her name?
Tess.
Tess is his fiance. That Daddy's not happy with having Vince along at all. Oh, and even though Vince is Tess's fiance, we can see that he's ogling every babe who walks by. And we know, okay, is he going to be able to keep his dick in his pants for the movie, or is that going to be the problem here?
Gotcha.
But a hell of a lot of good material here.
Okay, thank you.
I think the thing throughout, Stephen, is that this is an ensemble piece. At least that's the way I sort of take it. And you're keeping characters sort of, you're juggling around a lot of characters, but keeping their older arcs interesting, which is, of course, one of the hardest things to do. And I think, that's just like zero in on. If you just zero in on Grace, I think that'll help things. Because you're right. She's the linchpin to everything. She's she's involved in every single sort of shenanigans that go on here.
Yeah, it reads more like an ensemble piece now than a lead actor interest kind of thing. And I think ensemble pieces are the hardest thing to pull off, because there are just too many plot lines. Everything is equal to another. And for some reason, I never really find those kind of stories particularly appealing, because you're always want to pull for somebody, and you want to set up the characters we should pull for, or we either want them to succeed or we want them to fail. It doesn't really matter which way it goes, but you don't want to have all actors, all characters equal.
Yeah, personally, like I said before, that I see the main character, the main people is Jack and Grace, basically, and everybody else is, kind of like the, supporting folks. Because to me, that's the crux of the story. Is you have Jack with this person he's going to ask to marry, and she's not a very good. He'll be making a huge mistake with her. I mean, he'll have a horrible life with her. And then you have Grace, who's with this guy. He's always cheating on her, so he's no good for her. And it's like um, Grace and Jack seem so good together. To me, I see those two, and then everybody else is kind of like a vehicle for these two to come together eventually.
Yeah. Got it, wrote it down. Good notes. Yes.
Yeah, it's especially hard excuse me, especially hard with when you're working in just a feature length script, 120 pages, 2 hours. It's very hard to do ensemble pieces like that. So that's why most great ensembles are long form, the mini series, or they're full on, seasons of television in order to really flesh out each character, give each character an arc, give them a satisfactory ending. Yeah, that's one and Rob is right. It's one of the hardest things to accomplish, and just to have so many characters up in the air, you're juggling them around and trying to make them all fit together.
Gotcha.
One thing you might think about is you might just use the cruise boat a little more heavily as a setting. Usually cruise boats have slides on them, and you could have people going down, they're either shit-faced or whatever, and they're going down the slide. There may be an opportunity to introduce a hot tub scene into it. They have a popular hot tub scene.
Hot tub.
It could be that Derek, the country singer, leads a conga line of people around the ship singing country songs. I mean, these are just, they don't really have absolutely nothing to do with the plot, or they can either relate to the plot or not, but they can do, they're just like comic interludes that you might find on a cruise.
On that note, one of the comments one of the comments I had was when Jack was trying to get back Blair, you had some very cliche type things like flowers and whatever else. It would have been fun. I mean, and you always put a little twist on them and they made it funny. But it would have been fun to actually just do some ship specific things. So maybe to Rob's point, you could reuse the ship just to come up with some creative ways of trying to get her back. Because I always felt like, one of the problems I had with I think the script was very good. But a couple of few issues I had was, Grace said, "Oh, I have this plan to get Blair back with Jack." And I was waiting for like this big plan to emerge. And it was just like flowers. And it was like a bunch of little small cliche things, which you had your twist on. But, I was projecting that she had like this bigger grand things in mind, which you could use a ship for, like, someone spelling out things going down a slide or something. It depends on how much screwball comedy you wanted. But I thought it would be worthwhile to have a couple of ones that were out there that looked like she put some, heavy thought into. That's one comment I had. And also on the note of the screwball thing, when the actors read everything, when you read everything entirely and you come back, you notice the screwball things, but I didn't really pick up a heavy screwball flavor until about page 60. And if you see the people's expressions and emotions, you maybe pick that up sooner. So it may not be a problem if it was actually made, but all of a sudden with Alejandro, he made it all of a sudden really screwball. And right. with his, some of his things like, "I love watching your lips move." Oh, actually that was her saying, "I love your lips move." That was Grace saying that, not Grace, Tess or Blair. Sorry, Blair. And all of a sudden it was got this screwball dialogue, which it kind of threw me off a little bit because I wasn't expecting to be, because you were on the hairy edge of like believable romantic comedy to all of a sudden screwball romantic comedy. And it was just the tone. I don't know if you want to throw some screwball stuff in early on.
I will.
And that was just one of my things. I think as a screwball comedy, it's really funny. You get away with a lot more stuff. You just have to, I think, just have to establish that.
Yep.
Now, you don't necessarily have to wait to introduce Alejandro until they get to Cabo. I mean, he could be a crew member on board who, his screwball stuff when we first meet him isn't romantically oriented or trying to be charming. He's just he just always has a weird phrasing of, oh, I see you like your lobster with the shell, whatever it is. And, you know, and suddenly he goes from that kind of screwball to, oh, you're very charming, or whatever. I've forgotten all the lines that he uses, you know, you're like a hot jalapeno or whatever the heck, you know, just have fun with him. And all of a sudden it becomes like, oh, this guy's going from a crazy waiter to a possible romantic lead in the story.
Got it. Thank you.
And also in terms of using the setting a little bit more, maybe for comedic effect, I was thinking maybe have one of their staterooms be extra small, because, you know, sometimes if you, especially if you buy like a lower tier ticket, like those staterooms are basically room closets, especially on these like huge vacation cruise lines. So maybe there's a possibility for comedic effect if like the stateroom is like just super small with like or maybe it's Jack and Blair's like room, and it's like just super cramped and super and there's maybe possibility for comedic situations with that.
Got it. Thank you. Yep.
You might maybe introduce some older ladies who try and hit on Alejandro. You know, they're getting liquored up on the boat, getting out of control. And Alejandro, of course, has some, oh, you are like a dried up grape.
Well,
and it's charming. It's both
there you go.
charming and
salty at the same time. Yeah,
he means it to be charming. They
Yeah.
take it's charming, but of course it's very insulting if you
It's good. I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
No, that has to go into the script, Stephen.
That's funny. A dried up grape.
What?
It's funny.
You are a dried up grape, and I will add some salsa,
Oh
some mole to your meal.
my God. Awesome. Oh.
And also page 62, I was maybe I don't know, maybe it was the first time I read it, I was a little confused about the whole ring situation. And I get that they were trying to, I guess, replay back their plan. But I had to read it a few times just to fully understand. I don't have a specific comment there, but yeah, maybe just bring it up best. Let's see.
Yeah, I was also kind of confused. So where did the ring? Yeah, someone turned it in. Yeah, that kind of threw me off too.
Okay.
I think you were
Because
saying,
because doesn't Tess have it right now? Or is that, did I miss something?
She's got it. She's going to give it
Right.
back to Vince, because Vince is going to tell Tess that his long lost love, Grace, is on the boat. She gives him the ring back, and then Jack will tell Blair, oh, the reason right, and just tell, and as Jack is driving Blair back to the ship, he'll say, oh, you know, I want the ring perfect, you know, I lost it, or, you know, or whatever. And let me look at that again.
yeah,
That kind of,
I got you.
That kind of threw me off too. Yeah, like
Gotcha.
who has the ring? Oh wait, who has the ring now? So yeah.
I
Okay.
think Jack was practicing his reaction lines, but it threw me off. Like, did something actually happen to the ring, or yeah? Also, I had to that.
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Blair never. When Tess gets the ring, Blair doesn't believe that that's her ring, even though Jack says she's thinking Jack is making up everything. So you can say, you know what, I lost the ring, but the ship's captain found it, and he, you know, right now it's being, you know, polished or whatever to make it look perfect for you. So
Yeah, maybe just beginning with it. I'm gonna say someone turned it in. and just, repeat the problem. That's what he's going to say in the future. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Oh, right. I'm going to say some, right. That's it. That's it. I'm going to say,
Mhm.
someone found it.
Mhm.
Found
And
it
just make it clear that those are the lines he's rehearsing for when.
and turned it in. And then Greg can say, what else?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Jack can say, right, they can say, it's being polished, or if it's being, okay. It's being fixed.
You could also play the thing this way. I confess that I got lost in all this, but I'm not so sure that it really makes an awful lot of difference to some degree. Whereas one of these people could be explaining it to someone else and they go, what? What? I'm not following you. And you just, and so this whole ring thing is like a plot complication that nobody really understands. Nobody can really follow it, but it's playing out.
And knowing screwball comedy too, some of my comments maybe are not, don't apply, but on page 58, when Derek was so upset that Jack was coming out of his girlfriend's room, it seemed like he was, all upset, like, how dare you, with Grace. And then Jack said it's over, and he's just like, oh, okay. It just seemed like he needed a little more of a reaction there, even though I think he punches Jack later, but
He lures Jack in by saying, you're right, I've been in shit, I'm sorry. And then
yeah, which I
and then he
like that.
reached-
I liked when he turned that around to lure him in. But I imagine, like, he'd have some big reaction, then and then goes back to, oh yeah, you're right, and then punches him. So
bigger
he
reaction.
seems like he's a little bit of an impulse guy.
Bigger reaction. Okay.
That's the only comment I had there. And also Vince gets slapped a lot by different women, which I think is really, really funny, hilarious, especially the way they approach him and to draw him in. And maybe I missed it, but was there some scene where he actually fools around with a woman somewhere on the cruise ship where we actually see it? Except for
there's one woman comes down to his room and she kicks him in the nuts.
but is there someone where he actually
Nope.
he actually has a flare, he actually does someone, we actually see some, we just see a lot of responses to women getting mad at him, but we might want to bring it home with him actually, screwing out with someone. And
I thought of that.
Isn't there?
No, he never does.
Hmm.
Except even with Michaela at the beginning, he never gets around to it because Bruno busts down the door.
Yeah, what was your thoughts on that one?
I didn't want Vince to cheat.
Oh, you have something on 38 with Vince. Yeah, Vince interacting with you say tan girl.
Right, but he flirts, but he never does anything.
But then why would all these people be punching him and kicking him?
Because he was coming on to all these women, and then the engagement celebration is being played in televisions.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking, why are you
Broadcast
coming
on
on?
the ship,
It's broadcast throughout the ship, and they're all feeling like, what, you're a two-timer. Why are you two-timing against your girlfriend? And then they start, and he's done it to a lot of women, and they just keep coming up and slapping him or, pouring drinks on his head.
And I thought he and the redhead girl had a thing. That's why she kicked him. That's what I must have misread it. Whatever page
Every woman who's kicked him or poured a drink on his head, he tried to hustle. He came on to him saying, hey, why don't you come on to my room? I'll see you around, baby. And then once they see his engagement party on the TV screens and it just plays throughout, everyone knows, oh my God, this guy's engaged. And he was coming on to me on the ship. I'll get him. I'll get even with him. And they do. One after another, after another, after another.
You may be drawing too fine a line between him not ending up sleeping with Michaela only because Bruno comes busting down the door. I mean, he's a cheater. If he's given a chance, he's going to do it. So either that, I think we have to assume that he's cheating. He's going away when he gets a shot at it. Now, if he's the guy who always thinks he's going to get a shot at it and always fails at the end because the woman rejects it, but I mean, you say you didn't want to show him actually having an affair, actually having a physical relationship.
No.
The assumption is he's had them, and given the chance, he'll have more.
But not, right, except, and maybe I should make a line, like every woman on this ship knows, what,
Well, I mean, it could just be a guy who talks a good game. He's full of hot air and
yeah,
he's going to get it, but doesn't get to home plate ever. But he always talks a good game about it, and it always looks like it might happen, but it never happens or something. But
yeah, it will definitely doesn't happen on the ship with him.
yeah.
I didn't want that. Okay.
Are we supposed to hate Vince more, or are we not? I mean, I guess that's the thing. If we want to hate
Yeah.
Vince more, then show him doing some stuff. If we don't, then
I want you to think of him as a scumbag, and he's getting what he deserves in these funny ways, like
yeah.
The woman, the kickboxer who sidekicks him against the,
Right.
and he's doing it for not her, but for her friend.
Right.
So it's basically every woman on the ship is out to get him, and and his chance of picking up anybody on the ship is now 0.
Right.
And maybe I should make a note of that. Oh, maybe that's your chance of getting any woman on this ship is 0. Maybe that may be it.
Reactions are so violent from these ladies. I thought for sure, like my brain was telling me, oh, we slept with the redhead. I really thought that one of them,
Yeah, I did
because
too.
the kickboxer and then the redhead in the groin. I mean, that's
Uh,
quite strong.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
maybe,
strong.
how about they're funny? Maybe I'll make the woman's reactions funnier, like dumping a margarita on his head.
Oh, that's doable. I mean, you
Well, I
lie,
mean,
you get a
again-
margarita, but
Again, it's a
kickboxing,
comedy. Yeah, again, it's a comedy. So I mean,
Well, it is.
there's exaggerated actions to some of these things, but yeah,
I'll
think,
look at it and see if I can come up with maybe a couple that are.
Well, I mean, I like the
What-
kickboxing. I mean, maybe it depends on how you want to do Vince's character. If you want him to make his look like he's, doing a little more, maybe he grabs some woman's butt or something. Maybe he needs to go a little more in that direction to make it worthy of a kickbox. That might be more funny.
Okay.
What if right at the start when he's with Michaela, he knows that she has a boyfriend, and he's trying to score with her, but doesn't really want to get caught. He's a bit of a coward, and he thinks he's gonna go get there, and then Bruno shows up with the axe, and oh fuck, how did I
Okay.
get to escape? So he's a bit Weasleyer. Kind of lovable in a way because I guess he's going to fail or something.
Okay.
all right. We have anything else for Stephen?
I just had one more comment, and it is on Alejandro. He seemed
Alejandro.
to what?
Alejandro.
I'm never gonna be able to pronounce that.
Alejandro.
Really step into it.
Anyway, he falls for Blair really fast, and I wasn't sure if and probably explains it later if it was still part of his plan, or he just really fell for her.
The
I
plan
mean,
was,
maybe that's part of that
you-
question mark that's supposed to be there.
the plan, he was going to take her out right as they're gonna kiss. Jack's gonna appear, slug him, grab Blair, put him on the moped and take her back to the ship. So
Yeah. And
so-
and then he obviously takes it to like 10 more steps. And so
Yeah,
I'm always curious is it still part of the plan?
no,
No, we're
No, not
way
at
off
all.
script. Way off script now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think there needs to be some, in my mind, there needs to be some transition where he, he does something and then he's like, oh, okay, the plan's not going right. And then he snaps and goes, well, maybe we could do a little more romance. It seems like he just transitions right to going way overboard right away. And I miss where his little bit of his little clicking where he goes, okay, this is going,
So
way beyond.
Maybe as the boat anchor is, I mean, he's going up the side of the boat in the scuba gear to get on the ship. So maybe I could give him a line there.
Mm.
Something like, and maybe it's one of those stupid lines,
Yeah.
My heart. Because at that point, we think the plan's done. We think he's never coming back.
Yeah, and maybe someone needs to call him off or something like, okay, the plan didn't go around. He goes, well, maybe I can do something more or something, just show that he's on his own plan to make it clear, if that's what your intentions
So
are.
maybe Grace stops him. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Grace confronts him.
Yeah, she sees the two of them, like, yeah, Grace sees the two of them like sometime, and then she's just like, what are you doing?
You know what? Maybe
Yeah,
Grace confronts him. What are you doing here? And then he delivers a line. My heart for Clea.
My heart is on this boat.
Yeah, I must leave you now.
Because the two things you have to clear up is, one is that he's going to be making Grace mad, right? Because now he is getting in the way of getting Jack and Blair back together again, which later on, of course, she wants. But at the beginning, that's her goal. And number two is it makes everything that Alejandro says, more believable, that he's not doing it as an act, that he's actually doing it from his heart. So yeah, I think having that transition
I like that.
fixes those.
She says, you're going to ruin everything. And then Alejandro gives up one of those stupid lines of his.
Oh yeah, just
completely. And he goes, excuse me, I've got an appointment with Destiny or something.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Yeah, something like that.
And then she goes, oh shit.
What else can go wrong?
Oh, there you go. Exactly. What else can go wrong?
What else can go wrong? Or, oh, gee, like, what have I gotten? What have I've gone deeper into this?
I've created a monster.
I've created a monster. There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I created a monster.
I mean, that scene when he's coming up with the suction cups. I mean, that's where he's kind of like muttering them to himself. In style of Pepe Le Pew. Water cup when I find your cabin, I will do this and that, and we will experience pleasure like no woman and man have ever experienced pleasure before. And that's you're just writing up. Maybe he gets to the first deck, and then continues up to the upper. He continues going up. He gets to where he can get up onto the ship,
and then he just keeps climbing.
The next wall, it keeps going up, and people may be walking underneath him. But I'm not hearing him, perhaps, because that would be breaking the frame too much. But he keeps muttering, and he gets up to the upper deck. And
I love it. Yeah,
I like that Grace confronts him. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she realizes her plan has gone totally off the rails.
Completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. Yep.
Good. I like that. Which creates more desperation, more tension, and all that, more drama. Thank you. I love that. That's awesome.
Stephen, a question I had for you. This is a brand new idea of yours. Is that correct?
I've had this idea for years.
But have you ever written it before?
And then I put it away for a while and then brought it back and put it away again. I was more interested in completing the family films and devoting my attention to my family films first, because I thought they were just easier to write. This is really, much more convoluted. And then I came back to it, and now I'm going to finish it because I've got all my family films are all done for now. So I want to tackle this one, this is a big challenge for me, just to make it funny, keep it going, trim it down. Because I got blocked when it came out so lengthy. I thought, I'm just going to put this away for a while because I don't know where to trim it. But now I do. you know, and the whole thing about being on a boat, I thought, how marketable is this? I mean, if it takes place on a boat, are people going to say, oh, it's too expensive? Oh,
That's what makes it marketable. I think the idea that it's on the cruise boat is actually what makes it marketable.
yeah. Okay.
That's what adds
Sneaks on a
that
plane.
little extra bit of fun to it that,
Okay.
you know,
I agree with you.
we're waiting for the Love Boat to happen again here.
Exactly. Love boat.
Yeah, there was a Meryl Streep movie actually just last year, and with Steven Soderbergh, and literally they just took a cruise from I think it was just a transatlantic cruise, and they just filmed on the way there, and they basically just whatever cruise line they used, they just thought it was just good promotion for their own sort of brand. So yeah, that's one way. That's one inventive way to.
Hey, there you go. Right, Disney.
Disney, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Disney has cruise ships.
That's right.
Disney needs
Certainly do.
product.
We'll just rent a boat.
Yes, rent a Disney Cruise Line boat. I'm sure that's a reasonable price. Buy out all the staterooms. I'm sure that'd be feasible.
That's not your concern as the writer.
That's
Fine.
right. That's right.
Let somebody
Producer,
else worry about that.
producer's job.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you all. Great notes.
Oh yeah, great.
As always.
Oh, I think yeah, that's what we're here to do. So yeah. But any parting word? Any last thoughts with before we move on to Rose's script? Awesome. Okay, so yeah, definitely want to look for Act 3 next time, and yeah, see how everything finishes off. I guess somehow I'm just hoping that unless there's a change with Jack a little bit more, I just don't want. For some reason, I just don't want Jack and Grace to end up at the end of this. But we'll see. I guess I'll save comments I'll see the comments after I finish. Yeah, I'll see. We'll see. But it's just my personal. I guess it's just my personal connection with the character or something. It's weird, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, we'll move on to Rose's script, Tales now. And you want to give any sort of backstory to it, to the inspiration or writing, Rosa, before we begin?
Yeah, I want to write something for next summer. So hopefully I can convince my friend Demi to film another short next summer, the way we did this past summer. So I wrote, this is a rough draft, and I wrote this, and it's looking like it's not gonna go because, well, I don't know, because I might have to write something else, only because there's complications with the beach outdoors. Charity mentioned it. She's like, well, why don't you just make mermaids of the lake? I said, well, I can't have, the mermaid legend is an ocean. I'm not gonna do the mermaids in the lake because then she's a monster, blah, blah. So, but it was my first idea is this, and this is a rough draft. And I only wanted about 10, 11, 12 pages. I didn't want something complicated. It's something short, a kind of mystery kind of a thing. But we'll see. I might have to put this one down and do something more doable for next summer, but.
Rosa, just to clarify, is this meant to be a short, or is this just?
Yeah, no, it's a short, yeah.
It's a self-contained short. Okay. Okay.
I'm working on a full-length feature, but that one's negative.
I'll start with some good. Oh, wait, are we done the back comments? Okay. Yeah, I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was, real creative. And it had, really nice visuals, that I think really came through. And it really associated you with the definite tone, with the visuals and the sounds. So I thought that was all really well written, and I could visualize it and hear it. And that was all really, really nice. Good job.
Yeah, I'll second that. Yeah, definitely the probably the best part out of the way you describe things. And it's not just with yeah, as Barry pointed out, it's not just with the imagery or anything. It's with sounds too. I keep on promoting that you can use sounds also to really set the table and really immerse your reader into it. Yeah, use sounds, like use like use other method. You can use other method rather than just describing what's going to be on the what's visually on the screen. That you can use other ways and other words to do that. But yeah, I like the new sort of modernized take on the mermaids, like how they live, like in these modern times, how they hide out, and how they deal with sort of their transitions and everything. It's very, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, and I would like to do it too. So yeah, that's hopefully we'll be able to find a way to whether that's transporting it to a lake or another. We'll see.
It does sound like a fun one to make for sure.
It would be, yeah. The only issue I was thinking is just sound on a beach is just, it's so difficult with
Demi
with
said that.
it's so
Yeah.
difficult with filming anywhere near a beach with the waves and surf and everything. Yeah, it's just very difficult to get usable sound.
But you, from a production, why not just shoot the scenes on the beach at low tide where there's nothing really going on, and they're scavenging for seashells. I mean, I must say that was the imagery in the log line that really appealed to me. I thought, oh, this is a short film, and it sounds, as I envisioned it as a short film. I thought, oh, much of the action is going to take place with your women harvesting seashells or finding seashells on the beach. And I thought, oh, that sounds perfect to me because it's so simple. There's some big secret is going to be revealed. I didn't know what it was going to be, but this sounds, sounds pretty doable. Sounds like an interesting setting. It just sounds, I don't know from a production point what the sound is, but boy, there has to be a workaround there.
No, there is. It's just getting better mics. Actually, probably getting better sound software, just so you can take out the sounds, the gulls. The gulls are just also a hassle sometimes too. But yeah, I can definitely see this. Definitely see this being made. Of course, I'm willing to help out. So.
I like the story. I was intrigued. And you got a nice way with dialogue too. It's a little cryptic, and it was it added to the whole feeling of this, which I really enjoyed. I was hoping it was a feature. I mean, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? What's going on, with them? But nice job. I liked it. I really liked the dialogue. It was good.
Good with positives. 1, 1, 2. Going once and twice. Okay, so needs for improvement. Any questions for Rosa? Want to start off there?
Rosa, just to be clear, this is about the women are mermaids, and basically, I guess they eat men or other people. I'm not sure if it's sex related or not.
No, it's men. They eat men. They lure them and they eat.
And they eat men, okay, and then these men then they use the body parts
Lamps.
and create things out of them. Okay.
Are they considered vampire mermaids, or I guess you say they eat them versus vampire? Okay.
Well, if you look at the old time legends before Disney, Ariel and stuff, they were enchantresses, but they were always pictured as almost sea monsters, sea creatures. So over the years, Disney has made it Ariel and everybody singing, but they were in the original tales, from what I've read, well, at least in ancient Greek
Like
times,
sirens.
they would lure the sirens. They would lure them with the singing, and then these sailors were in for it. They were
Isn't
lured,
that
they were
why-
enchanted, and then the mermaids killed them. So
Isn't
that's
that why Homer is tied to the mast of the, isn't that why Homer is tied to the mast of the
Yeah,
Right.
all that.
sea, is so
Yeah.
that he won't be lured away by the sirens? Or-
Yeah, and you were in trouble if you heard them. You were in trouble if you
Yeah.
heard them. So that's, I was
Yep.
harkening back to that legend more than today. Everybody wants to be a mermaid, and it's fun, and it's
Mhm. It's a Disney-fied version of
yeah.
mythology, right?
Rosa, I can't remember, but like how the guy that she actually one of her victims, like how did they get together? I can't remember.
She just met him in a bar, local bar.
Okay, no, because I was wondering. I mean, since she's a mermaid and they, they lure the fishermen and what have you. You ever thought about kind of using? I mean, kind of like her voice or some kind of like, do we actually see how she's seducing them or?
Maybe. I mean, if I go forward, it would make sense to show a little in the past when they were dancing on the floor and how that came about, how she lured him. But
Like let's say they're in the bar and they have karaoke and
yeah,
she's singing and then he's really that kind of that attraction happens there. I'm just throwing it out there, but I was thinking like since the mermaid kind of use the whole what that's their power to seduce men is kind of like their voice.
yeah, they sing to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. If I go on with the story, I would want to show that. I would want to show somehow she's singing to him and he hears her voice and he's enchanted. The thing about the bar, though, wouldn't all the men be enchanted? So I have to kind of make it a little more less people. But the idea, how would she have met him, either on a fishing boat or a bar? Those ideas came to my mind in a bar, in a public
Dunkin'
place.
Donuts.
But that, so I'm not quite sure. But she's and I'm not. But yeah, it would make sense to show her luring him in. Makes sense. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, how about it's just like after hours at a bar and like she's waiting for the last Thomas in this case, Thomas is just hanging out. He's nursing his last beer for the night, and then she comes in and then she sort of she says something like she's she's a lounge singer or something like that, and she gets up to the mic and then and that's how you sort of that's how she reels him in. That's with the siren song or something like that. Something like that. I'm just spitballing on the.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just a small idea, it may not be of interest, but you might not want to make this so heteronormative that that only men can be attracted to the mermaids. That there's if the mermaids can attract men, why can't they attract women?
I mean, why not? But
Yeah.
in this particular story, it's a couple. But
Mhm.
I got a question.
Listening to you talk about the story, it sounds like the big, forgetting the short, just putting that aside for a second. If you were to blow this up, I mean, this sounds like it's like almost like a kind of like a murder mystery, Jaws, cross with Jaws kind of great thing. I mean, you open up and the town sheriff, everyone's gathered around a male body that's floating in the shallows that's been ripped to shreds, and they're trying to figure out what animal could have done this, and eventually they just can't figure it out. Or maybe the three women are in the water and they're talking and somebody comes by in a kayak or something And the next thing I know, the guy's dead and chewed up and whatever they're doing. And, because I don't know what really triggers them to kill other than that unless they don't take their pills at night, if that's the only time that they're active. Or something like that. And then, okay, now we know this is really, hard to know, but these are just thoughts that are crossing my mind as I'm listening to you, basically.
Hey, Rosa, what are the rules of being a mermaid?
Rules are, at 18, you get your fins, your tail. That's why the daughter's transforming.
Okay.
And you can stay on land only so long unless, because the water draws you out. But you be careful of the rain because any kind of water on you can draw out the tail. That's another rule. And they have, in this particular story, they have to stay calm to fight their instinct. But they always are near the water, always live near the water that calls them. And they do at midnight or whenever have to go into the water every 24 hours or something, just to be in the water a bit. But they can live on land too. So that's how I modernize it. They've learned, because they've been almost killed off, they can't stay in the water 100%. So they've adapted a bit to the shore. But at night, perhaps midnight, they do jump in a bit and then come back to the shore. And they
Okay.
keep themselves calm to stay on shore. But they move
Okay.
around a lot.
I was wondering on page 3.
They move from town to town,
Okay.
all up along. They live along the shore, but they have to constantly move because it's just, they eventually,
They run
you
out of
know.
men.
they just got to move on. They don't want suspicion drawn on themselves.
Gotcha.
The men around here don't taste too good.
Yeah.
You know what I
Down the
mean?
cake.
Too salty. Too salty.
The reason I was asking is that what happens if, okay, Irene is okay spending a lot of time in the rain. Why?
Irene.
Irene.
She's just learned to control her natural instinct to act sometimes in the rain, whereas Rhoda can't be in the rain too long.
Okay, I think maybe you want to just make a comment about that. Irina says, I can control it, relax. You know, unlike you, I can control it. There you go. Jeff, can you call page 1? These are just a couple things,
Which page 1?
if you could.
Top. Okay.
There
Well,
you
now. Okay.
Good. This is just a couple technical things. You don't capitalize sound. What you do capitalize is you capitalize the sound that something's making.
Gurgles, wind.
Yeah, the wind
Yeah.
blows, BLOW, the gun fires, capitalize fires, not gun. So you want to make sure you capitalize the sound that's being made.
Although some people don't capitalize any sounds anymore. But
Yeah, I mean, that's again,
Yep.
but you don't
Yep.
want to capitalize the word sound.
Right. You don't want to.
So either, yeah, you're right. Rob's right, either, or just capitalize really important sounds, like those
Gurgles.
significant sounds.
The sounds you really want to have. Yeah.
Yeah, and page 8 is one thing. Right, see where it says interior beach house, living room day, and then you got a voiceover. What are we seeing in that?
We hear the sounds and then we slowly see the daughter. We just see her crawling as they speak. So we hear the sounds.
Right, but you've got a voiceover in a scene that has no visual.
No description. Yeah.
No description.
Yeah, after I had the description
Yeah,
first
no.
before.
Right.
Whatever that is, and you do that twice. You do it there, and then you do it at the bottom of the same page. So you just want to, whatever we're seeing,
Yeah.
If
Just a
it's a
scene
black
description.
screen,
Yeah,
if it's
there's always
darkness.
Yeah,
There's always a
yeah.
slug line.
Just
There's always a-
darkness. Yeah, that's all.
Darkness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just blank, yeah, or blank screen if you just want only the voiceover to be playing. Right?
Okay.
You've got some memory flashes here,
Yeah.
and then you give the date 1990.
Yeah, when they were little.
So that really threw me. Memory flash 1990, as opposed to present day.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, that one actually, I was gonna mention that one too, because how does the audience know that, right?
exactly, and also too, all we're seeing is a woman's hand.
Right, just,
So did that happen now? Did it happen yesterday? There's no indication that it's 1990. And that kind of threw me.
we don't really need to know it if you're just trying to interject a visual. You can just say,
Exactly.
you know.
She does say, don't get me started on a stained glass
Yeah.
work, and then she presses a stained glass.
Right.
Just a thought. It just kind of threw me.
Yeah.
And then
It doesn't have
also,
to be 1990, I guess, but I wanted
Yeah,
to.
it just has to be sometime in the past. Yeah.
right. And the other thing that threw me was Mrs. Blackstone. All of a sudden, there she is. All of a sudden, she pops up in voiceover, and I'm like, who is she? We haven't seen her yet. So
She's just the teacher's voice.
just say woman's voice. That's all. I mean, but the or you can say, do you remember Mrs. Blackstone? And then you go to a voiceover, you know, and then you can talk about, oh yeah, she had that really horrible voice. I hear it. I can just hear her saying it now. And then you have that something, because that just came out of nowhere. Mrs. Blackstone, that threw me. So yeah, I mean, I would introduce Mrs. Blackstone first, and then you hear her voice. Yeah. I think that would flow a little bit better.
No, go ahead, Stephen.
And my last comment, Irina smells nicotine gum through the door.
Mermaids have an intense.
Mermaids.
Very, very good sense of smell.
If that's the case, then I would bring that up, I'd bring that up right from the beginning, whether on the beach, and hey, Mrs. Jones is baking apple pie again. I mean, it's just, I didn't get the sense of the acute sense of smell.
V5.
I mean, that's a great line. But maybe as they're gathering shells, you know, when she can say, Mrs. Baker's, Mrs. Taylor's making apple pie. Nope, it's blueberry. I mean, just so they're real. They're really totally acute. And she goes, nope, it's apple. What's wrong? What's wrong with your sinus is acting up again or something that way? Oh my God. Now, okay. Because I didn't know mermaids had a acute sense of smell. I didn't. So,
Yeah, I think.
yeah, exactly. With the rules, exactly.
And is that acute sense of smell? Is that because they're in the ocean, or that's the air, or that just a mermaid thing? I know fish have a tremendously good sense of smell, but because they're in the water.
Well, they pot fish, so I think that they would have an acute sense of smell.
Right.
Well, I think because the smells travel really well in water.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
So I have a question for you. The person, the girl who's in the wheelchair, I can't remember her name.
Alec.
Is she in a wheelchair because she's in the process of developing her tail? Okay.
Yep.
So she's about. So your rule is that when you turn 18, you can grow a tail. That's just the rule. That's your rule.
That's something I made up. Yeah. That's my rule.
Let me ask you this question. So now that I understand that, if I was about to be growing my tail and transforming into a mermaid, part of that moment would probably be very exciting and pleasurable and becoming a woman. But given the way you've developed these women and eating men, that would also be kind of a scary moment. Do I really want to develop into this creature who's going to be consuming handsome young men for the rest of my life, I guess and I would think that I'd be, I mean, if there's a character who's worried about the future, that's her. And I'd be very nervous about coming into, quote unquote, mermaidhood, I guess it is. Because it'd be a very scary moment. You're kind of going from innocence to killing things. I mean, if that's what mermaid story is, I don't know all the details of the mermaid story.
But keep in mind, Alex starts sucking on the blood on Irina's shirt. And I thought, oh, she's hungry.
Yeah, she could be very eager to become a mermaid.
Yeah, that's what.
She could be reluctant to become, she might say, I've been living as a human, I guess all these years, and now as I turn 18, I'm becoming a mermaid, and generally humans don't eat other people, just generally, not speaking specifically.
As a rule.
They don't make them into
Rule of
lampshades.
etiquette.
So you may be saying, this is going to be a little bit of a different culture than the one I've been so I'm a little Tommy who I went to high school at some point. Unfortunately, he's going to have to be consumed and made into a very attractive seashell box at some point, I think.
I have a question about mermaids now. Do they have sex with these men? Or they just lure them in and kind of use their sexual appeal just to get them in and then eat them? Or do they actually have...
I think they don't, because I think the legend is that they allure them and kill them. I don't, I'm adding the sexual content because they're modernized and they're on the land. So I add it, but I think that they lure them. You look at the old tales, and the old fishermen just see like a beautiful female body, and they're lured, and then they're killed. But they're enchanting them, but I don't know. I'm making it so they get. I'm making it so that I'm translating that as their sexual.
Well, they have to reproduce too, so maybe they use them.
Yeah, they use them.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
So when they procreate, I mean, the mermaid gets pregnant, they have the baby. It's like when the baby comes out, is it human? And then they don't develop into, I guess, their mermaiddom until they're around 18. Is that how it works? So it's like, I'm just trying to think, I'm just trying to get a sense of kind of like the rules and
that's how it works in my tale. That's how I make it work. They come out normal, but then they transition at a certain age. That's just how I do it.
Because I was even thinking too, like there could be an option, since this is like your version. Maybe they don't have to have a tail. Maybe they could have some like scales or something like that, so you could kind of, like, if you want to change things up a little bit, I guess you can do that, because animals, they evolve, so maybe they don't have tails that they used to. Maybe they just have scales that they can hide and integrate into society a little bit better. Because once you have that tail, you're not going to be able to integrate into society, basically, because they're going to see. How can you hide that? So,
but the tails seem to come and go, right? I mean, the women
My version
are mermaids, but they don't have their tails when we see them, right? Okay. But, Rosa, you could, again, the traditional view of mermaids is they're wonderfully slinky creatures who are loving and all that, I guess. But now you're putting this spin on it. You could link it to some kind of environment change in the environment. Something is making them go bad. Or two, you could also have good mermaids and bad mermaids, however you want to define good and bad. And so that they might have to eat men, but not maybe not everybody's gung ho about it, but maybe there's more of a, like a real cannibalistic kind of mermaid that really, that's what they, the Jets and the Sharks, it's a, good and bad mermaids. Obviously, this is way beyond the scope of a short.
But I do think, but I do think that there isn't really, there's something I'm just actually noticing is that there isn't really conflict here. And, that's fine. Some of the, especially for a short, I guess you don't really need a well-defined conflict. But just for an example, like on Viola, the conflict was between Viola, like coming into her own basically, and then her father and then her stepmother sort of just not wanting that to happen. And so that's a nice little conflict. But here it's just sort of, Alec seems to be fine with transitioning into mermaidhood, and everyone is helping her out and everything, and everyone is happy with it. And that might be fine for a short, but there isn't really conflict going on. It's just everyone is going about mermaiddom, and that could work. But maybe do what a few have suggested, like have Alec have a little bit more trepidation about, what's going to happen to me, how is this going to affect like everything, this is going to affect everything. This is going to affect, the previous 18 years of my life are going to be completely just like changed. I'm going to be completely basically a different being. So maybe just add a little bit there. And again, it depends on if you wanted to, there's of course a lot of potential to make this into a feature if you go that route.
Right, sort of, listening to Jeffrey, instead of having her eagerly sucking the bloody shirt, she's not a mermaid yet, right? She's waiting. She's in this transition period where she's begun as human, and it's not till she's 18 that she's become a mermaid. And maybe she watches the other mermaids suck the blood off the shirt. She knows that this is about to happen to her, that she's about to transform. It seems to me that this becomes the scary part. Forgetting she's a mermaid, I'm about to become a woman. I'm about to grow up. In this case, in your story, what that means is you start eating people. There may be other parts of the mermaid, but that's all we know about. That's all I know about the story right now. And so now it's a little scary for her. And maybe there's some good parts to being a mermaid. We haven't seen them yet. We don't really know what's good about being a mermaid. We do know a lot of negative things about being a mermaid.
Is there a chance you want to play it like they're trying to hide it from her about the whole mermaid thing, just in case she doesn't change into a mermaid and they don't know she's going to change into a mermaid? And so once they find out that she's going to grow a tail, then they have to tell all the stuff to her, and it's like overblown, shocking to her. I don't know. Of course, they have to explain why they're doing what they're doing, but that's just another.
Maybe it's not maybe they don't know if she's going to turn into a mermaid. If she doesn't, then she becomes a normal human being. If she does become a mermaid, well, then I guess she's going to be munching on a lot of men for the rest of her life. And not in a pleasurable sense either. At least to the men.
Rosa, I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
Just two things. Gunsmoke. What's the significance of Gunsmoke? And then someone says you're not funny.
Just something. Just a saying. I don't know. Just something she says, trying to be funny. Like,
okay.
Hold up. My brother used to, like when I was trying to rush, hold up. He'd say that to me. Hold up, Gunsmoke. I don't know. I don't even know what TV show that's from, but he'd say.
Okay.
It's just a goofy thing.
And then she says, you're not funny. I'm thinking, why is Gunsmoke not funny? Anyway, if you're going to have Tom come by the house, so I do like the idea of him being in the bar. The whole Nicorette gum, I'm waiting for the payoff of that. The nicotine gum. I'm waiting for the big payoff. And there wasn't one. Just a thought. Rhonda can say, Tom's here. you know, I know that cologne anywhere. And then you hear the knock. Maybe he's wearing cologne because he's trying to come by and woo her or impress her, you know. So he'd be fancied up, you know, with a little cologne maybe or something. And that also will talk about his character. Oh, he's interested in her. He's, you know, sprucing himself up. Or, uh-oh, Tom's here with that cologne again. He means business.
Yeah, he just rubs his face with a piece of raw fish.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Fisherman's cologne. There you go.
There you go.
Puts a little piece of shrimp.
A little piece
behind
beyond
his
the
ear.
Does the hands and everything. Rosa, I have a movie recommendation for you. It's a Polish movie, actually, and it has to do with the modernization of the mermaid myth. The Lure. It came out a few years ago. Polish movie. I just put it into the chat, at least the IMDb section. And it is about the conflict between these two mermaids. One wants to sort of be in harmony with humanity. The other wants to just I think it's devouring, like what you have. But yeah, it's definitely something to check out. It's a nice little fun Polish movie from 2015.
Thank you. I'll definitely watch that. Thank you.
Yeah, in Warsaw, a pair of mermaids are adopted into a cabaret. One wants to seek love with humans, the other wants to dine on them. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a little bit of conflict there.
You know, if the offspring have the possibility of either becoming mermaids or becoming human, you know, in addition to the girl who's about to turn 18, perhaps there's an older sibling who's human, who comes back home, who's somehow enters into the scenario, and you know, or you know, she's been long cut off from the family because she's been grossed out by what they do of eating people. But you know, you can get different perspectives on this eating men, eating people or not. More than one take on it. Male mermaids?
Could they survive like eating animals or instead of humans, or is it just purely instinct that they eat men? I mean, I'm just curious.
I'm going to make it that they only eat men.
Okay.
Okay, that's your rule.
Okay.
I mean, they to live, they will eat seafood as they live in the ocean. So they'll eat other, you know, species of seafood just to keep their human form, you know. But they are, they like that what they are attracted to is eating flesh of men.
That's more like their instinct. Yeah. So
yeah, the instinct is that.
Yep.
That's
Maybe you should have shots of them, of people in the water off of Cape Cod just having a wonderful time in the summer. And then suddenly the man is you know, and maybe you see a shark fin that goes by, and of course he thinks there are sharks off the Cape. And all of a sudden the man starts screaming for help. And of course we assume that it's a shark because we've just seen a shark fin, of course. But in fact, it's the mermaids grabbing their latest prey and then devouring underwater and then letting his body float to the surface because they're hungry. It's lunchtime.
Wow.
And they can't get a fried clam boat from the dairy bar.
Well, it sounds like they don't leave evidence. It seems like whenever they're done, whatever's left over, they kind of make use of it, kind of like Ed Gein. I think, I don't know if he's pronounced it Gein, but that's what he was doing. He found all kind of uses for what's left over and left no evidence.
Have Have you thought about an obese mermaid who's going, gotta stop eating like this. I'm eating way too much. I gotta cut out dessert.
He's got a lamp shop.
Haven't thought of it. No.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of lamps after a while.
All right. Do you have anything more, Rosa? Getting close to the 2-hour mark, but anything more for Rosa before we? No? All right.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to say, I just want to say, both writers, you guys did a good job, and
Yeah, excellent work.
yeah.
Two very different scripts, and so I always like that when we get a variety of scripts that go across spectrums. So, very nice. So Rosa, do you think you're going to return to this with a rewrite soon, or are you going to give it a little bit more time?
I do want to return to it or start something else soon. Either I'm going to return to this if I think it's worthy for next summer, or I'll just start something new for next. But yeah.
I think I don't know whether you can do, I would say that you should stick with this, but I don't know whether you can do it as a short. It just seems to me that mermaids and, the technical issues, but as a feature, I mean, it seems like this would be an intriguing take on a mermaid. I mean, it really sounds like it's could be a very bloody horror movie. It's your answer to Piranha or to Jaws or something. It sounds like it could be a lot of fun for a summer movie. So.
But yeah, if whenever you're willing to send in a rewrite or anything, just let us know. But yeah, so we have a little bit of time. Does anyone have want any help with log lines or story pitch ideas that they want to bring to the group? No, nothing. Oh.
I did actually have a technical
Go
issue
ahead.
now. It's kind of going off.
Mhm.
But and I'm sorry, apologize for. But would you ever, on the capitalization, we mentioned that before. Do you ever put capitalization in dialogue to emphasize, or you would just put underline or explanation point?
Italicized. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
sometimes I do. I mean, it's really up to you, like how you think it reads. Like I just italicize certain words if I need the actor to say it in a certain way. To put
Okay,
more
so
emphasis on it.
if they were shouting out a word, you would just either italicize it.
No, I would just say shouts. I just use
Okay.
shouts as in parentheses
Or Barry, I just put exclamation,
or exclamation point.
Yeah.
And if it's really shouting,
Yeah.
I use 3, but that's like once
Very
or
rare.
twice in the script,
Right.
very rare, but once, if you have a word and an exclamation, they're shouting.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if you were to look in, what's his name, Dave Trottier's book, I think he would tell you not to italicize, probably not to do the 3 exclamation points, and to make it clear that you certainly don't capitalize it. You would either say shouting in a parenthetical or something like that. Because it's the actors who are reading the line, and so you're leaving it up to them to read it. If you want them to shout, tell them to shout, and they'll put the inflections in themselves.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So for next time, Stephen, you are going to make it, even with everything going on.
I'm hoping to that. We're talking
Okay.
the 16th. I should be back in town by the 16th.
We're talking the 16th, exactly right.
Yep. With Act 3.
With Act 3, okay.
Unchanged.
Okay, awesome. And Barry, you're up for putting in the rewrites for Real Brainless?
Definitely, yeah. I'll be ready by then. I mean, I probably could have been ready, but I just wanted to go over a couple more times.
No, yeah, iron out what you need to iron out, certainly.
I missed
Okay.
that one, Barry. I miss
Oh, yeah.
I miss your
Appreciate it. Well, you know,
Can you
so I'm
get
going
back?
back. I took episode 1 and episode 2, and I didn't like having a 2-part pilot. So I just scooped out the middle. I kept the same beginning pretty much, and then the same ending of episode 2, and just scooped out the entire middle. So the entire middle is all pretty new. And also I'm trying to add more character to my characters, because they're all a little bit one-sided. Initially, I was thinking about with a comedy, you should kind of have one-sided characters, but then I don't know. They get kind of old after a while too. I never know how much depth you put into characters.
What length are you writing the thing to these days?
That's just it.
What's that?
Yeah, that's just it. This one is coming in right now at 33 pages.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good length for a pilot. I mean, yeah, for half-hour show. Yeah, sure, it's good length for it.
Yeah, I mean, it could probably be optimally 30, I suppose.
Mhm.
But you know, sometimes I like to write a little longer. That way they can always cut out a scene when they actually shoot it. If it's not working, they still got the 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know the best way to do it, but it's close. It's a lot better than my other ones. They're all coming around 40. So
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah,
considering I'm combining 2 episodes.
Even if it's 33 pages, it still could end up being 30 minutes only because comedy is a comedy is quicker than like let's say a horror film. You know, you could have 33 pages, but a horror film could end up being 40, 45 pages because of a slower pace. So you might still hit that 30-minute mark even at 33 pages.
I think it's kind of formatted to more the modern comedies, right? That don't really necessarily have commercials.
Mm.
More
Yeah,
than
all the
Netflix
streaming
options.
shows. Yeah.
Otherwise, I guess it'd be more like 22.
Mhm.
That seems so short.
Yeah, I was watching, there's a show called Modern Love that's on, I don't know, whether on Netflix or Prime or somewhere.
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime, okay. And I only watched the very first episode, and it's about a half an hour long. And I did think of your show when I was watching it, because I thought half an hour is just about the right amount of time. And the other thing about that show is you could see how you don't need to have, one thing I recall about there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of stuff in it, and you could see how you didn't have to have quite as much dialogue to pull off the whole thing. And I thought, there's a real value in being short and brevity, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially with comedy.
Yeah, so I've been watching this TV show Lotus Hotel or something.
Oh,
And
White Lotus.
The White Lotus, right? And it's written by a comedian who's, you know, he's a pretty good actor, and half the actors just stare. And I don't know how he wrote it, but it just works so well. I mean, there's just so much staring and emotion, but it makes it so funny. And I was imagining how good you have to be just to write that, to know really how well the actors work rather than all the dialogue.
Yeah, sometimes it's day of like shooting that you just figure out, oh, you know, these sort of character quirks work. And sometimes you don't even, yeah, sometimes I just figure it out on set with the actors.
Yeah, but that's also really funny. It's one of my more funny comedies out right now.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, I do want to try to give it a watch. All right, if that's all, then I thank, as always, Stephen and Rosa for their submitted scripts, and
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
notes. Great
yeah,
notes.
yeah. So hopefully, Stephen, I don't think you're not going to be able to make this Tuesday, right? Or yeah, all right, it's okay. Yeah, but until then, yeah, another 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll meet again with hopefully Stephen and Barry scripts then at least. Cool. It's good. Yeah, it's good to see everybody. And take care. Have a good rest of the weekend. Yeah, we'll reconvene in another 2 weeks.
Sounds
All
good.
right. All right.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Have a good one.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.